All right. Welcome, everybody, to today's office hours. Actually, and I should have changed the date on it. This particular office hours was scheduled for last week. Both Kendra and I were not feeling well, and actually, Kendra is still not feeling well. So we are going to kind of redo this one and kind of go through it. So the topic of today's office hours is leveraging social media in Realvolve. So there are certain things that we early on in Realvolve, whenever we first started, there were some things that we had implemented into the system for Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and for whatever reason, the powers that be said, okay, for Facebook and LinkedIn, for those particular platforms, they didn't really want to play well with any third-party vendor, at least not real well. So there were some things that were taken away from our abilities, but there's still several things that you can do with the social media fields that we've got within Realvolve, and I want to show you how to leverage those the best way. Introduction real quick for those that don't know me. A lot of you are here every week, but for anybody that's new, my name is Mark Stepp. I am the Chief Innovation Officer here at Realvolve, and been doing this for 30 plus years, 3 decades of technology with real estate agents. Prior to Realvolve, there was another company that I did and did just a lot of the same stuff, really making sure that you guys have the tools that you need to automate and create a sustainable business. And then I try to show you also why we do what we do. So Kendra, who's normally here with us, and I don't know that I've seen her. I don't think she was going to join us today. But Kendra's with our Premium Services Department, my cohort in crime, but just not feeling well. And we will hopefully see her next week. So today's agenda, we're going to go over the social media pieces of Realvolve, like I said, talking also about some help and some premium service things. One of the things that I want to make sure that you guys are aware of is that you can go out to realvolve.com/office hours and get the replays of each of the office hours that we do, and being able to see the most current one as well. So anytime that you want to go out, do some learning, and we're not available or whatever, certainly go out to office hours and be able to see that. So let's talk about the different things that we can do within Realvolve. A lot of what this is going to be is some examples and showing you where things are, how things work. And I'm going to, at the very end of this, show you some automation that may just blow your mind. I hope that it will be good for you. So stick around and we'll go through this. So first thing we're going to talk about is adding your social icons to your signature. That is something that if you don't have your signature set up properly, that's one of the first things that we recommend that you do. Go in there, make sure it's set up. I'm going to show you how to do some of that. We're going to go through the process of how do you store the contact social media information? Very simple. We'll go through that. Using the social icons for quick access, show you how to do that. And then really setting up some of your workflows to be successful in making sure that you're doing the things that you need to do. The social media lookups within tasks, reminders for doing the just listed, just solds. And then also, especially if you're, a team leader, making sure that you've got your new hires onboarded properly and getting the social media information out there for that, making sure that everything is taken care of. So we're going to talk about these things. If you guys have any particular questions during this, do not be afraid to raise your hand, unmute yourself, ask away. I certainly want to be able to answer whatever questions office hours is for you guys to learn, and we go over typically go over a particular topic, but it's interactive. At least I hope it is. So it's not just me talking all the time. Kendra does an amazing job at showing how she applies it within her business, and how going through Navigator, being able to make sure that these are set up for each of her Navigator clients. So we go through that process. So let's go live. So the very first thing that I want to do is go into our templates area. Let me go into templates, and the first thing that you need to always do, and hopefully most of you, especially long timers, have already done this. I want to make sure that you go through and check your signature. Now, there are two signatures that are built into Realvolve, and we want to make sure that both of them are set up properly. Number one, the first signature is basically just the one that says signature, and it's very basic. Typically, actually, if you're just starting out, you've never been in here before, it'll just have your first name, last name in there. Nothing major of design or anything. Certainly your name is major, but what you typically want to do is go in there and put in some very basic stuff. For the signature, it's really geared for SMS text messages is what it's geared for. So you typically want to keep it short, concise, very basic information in this signature. In the signature enhanced, this is one where you can make it whatever you really want it to be. It is a HTML version of your signature. It's can be more robust. It can be designed in a way that whenever it shows up in an email, it has lots of colors, lots of vibrant stuff. Now, we have in our toolbox, so if you come in here, if you wanted to, just wipe out everything, certainly you can do that, wipe it out, and start from scratch. Actually, what I'll do is go ahead and wipe all that out real quick. So typically, whenever you first come in, it's just going to have your first name and last name. What we have available is there is a icon in here called templates. So you've actually got templates for templates. And inside these templates, you have different styles of HTML pre-laid out templates that you can use for different things. Now, the one that was there previously was the signature with photo, basic signature using the user photo. And certainly you can put that in and utilize that just by clicking on it, it inserts it. The other thing that you really should do in your design of this is we have different individual social media icons that you can use. So in this case, we've got some designs that are for Facebook. They're 32 by 32 or 48 by 48. So smaller, larger, no big deal. You choose the one that you prefer and stick it on there. Same thing for Twitter, now known as X, and YouTube, LinkedIn, Pinterest. There's several of these individual ones in there. Really ought to remove Google Plus. We don't do that one anymore. But there's also this one where it's kind of like all the social medias together, and either in the 32 by 32 size or the 48 by 48. So wherever you place your cursor, and I'm just putting it there for now, it will go ahead and insert all of the icons all at once. Now, the default on this is if you look at each one of these, if I double click on them, you'll see just where that image is coming from. And there is some things that you can change in here. You really don't need to change anything, but if you wanted to change anything just a little bit, the sizes or whatever, you can certainly do that. But what you really need to do is by clicking on, any particular one of these, come up to the link button, this link chain, and make sure that you put in your Facebook, your Twitter, your YouTube channels, and put the actual URL for your particular account. And most of you should know that. If not, one of the things that you can do is go to your Facebook, your main Facebook page. Up here's the URL. Right click, copy on that, and then just paste that right in there. That's the Facebook URL. Do the same type of thing for each of the other icons that are out there. Once you've got those set up, then click on save, and then anytime that you send an email, it includes the signature merge field, or if you've got your auto signature turned on, and that can be done in the settings area, it will put that in. Whenever it sends it, then the icon and the link will all be updated. Is that fairly clear? Everybody understand that one? Any questions on that? Good. Okay. So that takes care of adding the social icons to your signature, making sure that you've got those on there. And just note, you can put wherever you stick your cursor, and you come in and choose these icons, that's where it's going to put them. So just as a comparison, here's the 32 by 32 and the 48 by 48. Just a little bigger, not too bad. But you can go in there and you can change the size if you want them 16 by 16. You can certainly do that as well. Any of these that you don't use, you can just go in there and delete the column, or whatever. It'll close it up. Get rid of the ones that you don't want. Column, delete column, and closes it up. So there is that. Okay, next thing is storing your contacts' social media. So built into each contact record of a contact, let me just go into mine. I just added this record into this one. You guys will notice the color differences here. We have a library, Realvolve library of templates and stuff, and we've customized this one just so that we know that we're in this one, changing the logos and stuff. But I don't normally use this account, but this talk was originally designed for Kendra to give, and she uses this for samples and stuff. So I just went ahead and used the account here. And what I want you guys to see is in any particular contact that you have, up here at the top, you have different icons for the major brands: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. There is an Evernote piece, at least for those three that are most common. What you can do is go into your contact record, the contact tab of the contact record, and there is on the right hand side, the social links. So whenever you come down to social links, you'll see all the different social link options. Now this is where we're identifying for this particular contact what is their social link. So you can go in there, pull up their Facebook page, grab that URL, and then simply paste it in. One of the advantages of pasting this in and doing it for Twitter, doing it for any of the ones that they have, is that up here at the top, once you've done that, then you can very quickly at any time just click on their Facebook icon and it brings it up. It'll show that content. And you're going to want to be able to do that quickly instead of fumbling through doing searches and all that kind of stuff. maybe right before you're going to make a phone call. Find out what's happening in their lives. Do a quick search. Read through any things that's touching their lives at that point in time, and those are things that you can then talk about while you're on the phone. You're making conversation and not just trying to think of things to talk about or whatever. Hey, saw it on your Facebook page that so and so graduated, or whatever's happening in their lives, and making sure that you utilize that very quickly and easily. Anyway, that's just a quick way of accessing that. So you've got to store them down here. Once you've stored them, now once they are stored in here, these icons are also the same link. So if you come down here and you want to go to their Twitter, or go to their LinkedIn or whatever, just click on the icon and it will open up the icon as well. Or open up the page as well. Okay, any questions about that? Certainly unmute yourself or ask away. Don't see any questions. All right. So that's storing them, and that's also using the social icons for quick access. Quick access being up here, and also just the icons themselves, so you can click on any icon and go to them. Okay, so the next thing that's on the list is adding social media lookup tasks to your lead workflows. So one of the things that you can do is set up whenever a lead comes in, setting up a new lead workflow, obviously. And one of the things that you want to make sure that you have is something similar to this, where you've got a social media search piece. Whenever the activity comes due, and we're going to show you how you set this up, whenever the activity comes due and you go to complete it, you just go to check it off. It shows you a checklist of the different social media links that you want to make sure that you fill out. So again, you can do this as part of a call process if you want to. Hey, can I friend you on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, and get that information and paste it in. You can do it as a checklist so that you can come in here and just type in or paste in the information. One of the things that we've done for the checklist items for the Facebook is that there is a link there so that you can quickly open it as well. So you can just click on this and it will open up that link to the page as well. So each one of these, as you fill in the links, the ability to open those pages up is there as well. So how do you add these items to the checklist? And that's what we'll do right now. So this is the 1RV LB, the lead buyer workflow. And in here, there's 14 different things that we do whenever there is a lead, a buyer lead that comes in. Some phone calls, some text messages, one of which is this activity that I was just showing you, social media search. And what we've done is we've gone in here and added the merge fields for the different social media links. The way you add a merge field within a checklist is you come down here, click on two square brackets. It's the typically the key right next to the P key on your keyboard. Just bracket, and it's going to show you a list of all the different merge fields that are available. Now, what you can do is type in link, L-I-N-K, and it's going to show you all the different link fields that are available. So if you've got some kind of certain one that you want, do they have a blog link? Do they have Dropbox, YouTube? We've in this case, we've really shown the main ones: the Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube are the main ones most people will have. But if there's other ones that you want to make sure you ask about, certainly put in there. Maybe Pinterest, or whatever. Once you select that link and press enter, then it will then add it to the list. You can reorder these by grabbing it, reordering it. You can remove it if you don't want it. So set this up however you want your particular list to look like, and then certainly make sure you click on the update button. So very simple, adding one activity, going in and putting in the merge fields that you want, and then just a description. In this case, search for a person on these different pages, and then simply cut, copy, and paste whenever you're in their contact record. Whenever this comes due, just paste it in and then save and close. Once you save and close it, then it will put that link into their linked section of their contact tab under the social media. So it fills it in for you. You don't have to necessarily know where to find it. This is also good, if you've got an assistant, assign this type of thing to your assistant, have them go out, find the link, paste it in, complete the activity. It's really a no-brainer, and making sure that the information is getting filled out. Any questions on that? Either I'm boring you to death or I'm covering everything well. Give me a little feedback anyway. Make sure everybody is understanding this. Give me a 1 if you hear me and you're understanding everything in chat. Give me a 1. All right, 1. All right, perfect. Thank you. So that's that. Reminders to post just listed on your active MLS. So similar type of thing where in your, and this is the 1RVS3 RVS, which is the 1RVS, seller 3, basically, for active MLS listings. So what this is this particular workflow that we've got just has 10 items for whenever you go active in your MLS. Think about, what are all the different things that need to get done whenever I've got an active MLS listing. What are the things that I need to do? There's certain things like, 2 weeks before expiration date, I want to make sure I extend the listing if it hasn't already sold. 1 day after expiration, remove any kind of marketing materials. But before it goes into MLS, what are the things that I'm doing? And in this case, 0 days after date in MLS, which is the day I put it into the MLS, I want to make sure that I put any kind of just listed type announcement out on social media. Okay. So in this particular case, and it doesn't have an automated action. I want to make sure that's clear. This is simply a checklist item for you to be reminded to go out, post something into Instagram, post something into Facebook. Making sure that you've got those things identified that need to get done. Any questions on that? Okay. So what does that look like? Let's go back over here and let me go to, I think I set this one up. Wanted to say we've got 123 Main Street, and in here, activities, social media, marketing pieces, Actually, I didn't set this up, but what would happen is we could start the workflow, come in here. Once that piece was in here, it's just a reminder. You go to check off the activity, and it's going to pop up and list out the activity that says, hey, I need you to post to either Facebook or Instagram or whichever ones you've got set up in your checklist, in this case, Instagram and Facebook. So these are just reminders, but it's certainly something that, again, if you've got an assistant, no brainer as far as, do I need to do this? Yes, I need to do it. It's on my activity list. Go check it off. And then complete the activity once the activity is due, and then you're good to go. So that one's there. Similar type of thing for reminders for just souls. So I'm going to, actually, let me just come over here. In the buyer's contract to close section, or workflow, we have a very similar type of activity where out of the, what do we got? There's a bunch of 50 something, I think, 58 different activities that we're doing for the buyer's contract to close process. So of all these things, there's a couple of them here. One of which is 0 days after closing. So on closing day, we want to do something with a just sold social media post of some sort. In this case, the check boxes are still there to do the things, but this particular activity is set up so that you can request that your marketing assistant actually do the process. So what does that look like? We're going to go in here and we're going to see that it is basically just an email. We're going to do that email or send that email to our marketing assistant. So within the transaction itself, you've got your people tab. Inside there, it's going to have a place for you to put in your marketing assistant, and make sure that you select whoever your marketing assistant is so that this particular email would go to them. And all it says basically, and I'm going to click on the little preview here, is, hey, want to make sure that you know we just sold this. We've officially closed on 123 Main Street. If you would be so kind to place the just sold ad on social media, I would greatly appreciate it. So this is basically an internal email of some sort. Maybe you've got somebody outside of your actual establishment that does your social media for you. And if that's the case, certainly something like this is very useful in just making sure they know that something's happening on your side and that they need to do something for you. Very simple. Hi, in this case, marketing assistant, first name, whoever the marketing assistant is that's in your people tab. We've officially closed on 123 Main Street. So that's pretty much the process for getting something out very quickly. Once that is sent, and you'll see that this is an action for an incomplete checklist. So we've got this checklist of items. You send out this email to your marketing assistant. The checklist items, because they are checklist items, until you check them, this activity does not get marked as complete. So because they're not complete, and because you've got this set up as an action for an incomplete checklist, it's available. You send it out, and then the activity itself doesn't go away. It's waiting for you to check these two Facebook items. Once the email is received, they may do their process. They let you know, they reply back, hey, I've posted it, hope, give me any feedback, whatever. Everything's good. At that point, this activity is still showing up on your calendar. And at that point, then you can now click on Facebook, click on these 2 checklist items are complete, then this activity is considered complete. So it closes the loop. You're letting somebody else do something on an incomplete checklist because you don't want to do it in this case. And because you're having somebody else do it, you want to make sure it gets done. And until these checklist items get done, the activity's not complete. Any questions on that? This is a very, very powerful piece here.
Hey, Mark, it's Andrea.
Hey.
A question. We are in Realvolve and we pulled up one RVB2, but we don't see post just sold ad on social media. Is there something we're doing wrong?
That's a good question. Because, and like I said earlier, this is one that Kendra normally uses, our Realvolve library. It is possible she added this one after the fact. So it could be that we just need to, in your account, just add this in so that it's in there. And if you want to
do I need to send her an email or
I can send her a message. If you want to do a quick screenshot of this, it's certainly something that you can make sure that she gets in there for you.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's a great question. And sorry, I don't necessarily have the full answer on that, but that's definitely something that if it's not in there, certainly add these. There is any of these things that I talk about, while we've got them in this particular, you may have customized it. You may have removed something. You didn't understand it. I get that all the time. And realizing that building a workflow custom to yourself means it's custom to you. And if you don't want these things, certainly remove them. But if they're not in there and you want to add them, go in there, add them, and do the things that you need to do to make sure that your systems are complete.
Thank you.
But I will make a note for her to. I'll make a note. But definitely, if you don't hear from her, she has been, like I said, out sick. So if you want to touch base with her, certainly do that. Any other questions about that? All right. So that's good. So then the last thing that's on the main agenda here is celebrate new hires on social media in your onboarding workflow. So this is one that, if you've got any kind of onboarding process, this is one that definitely is something you want to make sure is in your onboarding process. Making sure that if you're doing any of the marketing and stuff for them, but also just a good reminder if they're doing their own marketing, hey, make sure that you do this, doing some coaching within your own group for your onboarding of your other agents. In this particular case, the agent onboarding, I think there's there's more than that. There's 36 different things that this onboarding process does. Welcome emails, team member information, just a whole, what I would say, goat load of information to help onboard a new agent, a new team member into your team. One activity in this case is, update the social media accounts, and I think set up profile, announce. Okay, so there's really 2 things on this one. Update the social media accounts, and this goes back to that same process that we were doing earlier. If you have a social media person of some sort, you're probably going to, in this case, it's a workflow contact. Actually, this is just sending it to the person that's being onboarded. You're going to send them an email that says, hi, new team member, greeting whoever's getting this. Just setting up your agent profile on sites, or just like setting it up, you will also need to update your professional information for social media profile on the following platforms. You're just reminding them, hey guys, you're brand new to our team. Make sure you update your social media. Where are you now residing? What flag are you under? What banner are you flying? So making sure that those are updated by sending them an email and reminding them, onboarding a person, so many things happening. They introduced to so many new people, lots of things happening in the process. This may be one of the last things that they think about or even think about it at all. So sending out a reminder to them that they need to update these is an important step. So it's just a reminder to them to go out there and update their own profiles. The next one on here, however, is going in and on that contact record, once you've started a new team member, they're going to have their own contact record as well, and you're starting this workflow on them. Same type of thing as if they were a contact in your database. You want to make sure that the Facebook, the Instagram, and the LinkedIn items are updated as well. So these are just checklists that you can make sure that everything's updated and that you've got them in your own books as well. These are things that you want to make sure get put into the database and active. And I think let's do a control F social. Yeah, there's only 2 in this thing. But there's any number of things that you can do as reminders to yourself to deal with social media. Making sure that you either announce things, whether it's just listed, just sold, under contract, lots of different possibilities, and making sure that those are things that you're doing within your business. Any questions there? I know I'm hitting you with a lot of different things, but I think it's important to make sure that you put these things as checklists, because they will get forgotten if you don't. And that's the whole purpose of the workflows, is making sure that things don't get forgotten. You don't let things fall through the cracks. Okay, so we've got a little time here, and I was hoping that we would, so that I want to show you some possibilities. Now, this is not something that I can certainly make this available to you as a quick link, but let's take a scenario where you want to automate some of this. And one of the features that we've got within Realvolve, within the activities themselves. Actually, let me go ahead and go back to AI. So this is something, no one has this. I just built this morning, but we're going to go through this and show you the process, show you how you can kind of take this maybe one step further, and there's some additional steps that you can go even further if you wanted to. Right now, AI is the big thing, the thing that everybody's talking about, and utilizing the power of AI in your business is the game changer. If you're not using it, you need to be. ChatGPT, you cannot hide under a rock anymore. You need to be learning this. There's lots of tools out there that you can utilize. And we may talk about some of those tools in the future. But here's one simple thing, and I say simple, but it's something that takes a little bit of setup. But once you do it one time, you set this up one time, how many hours you can be saving yourself will be unreal. So here we do. I create a new workflow, in this case, Facebook post, and I probably should say Facebook posts with AI webhook in Zapier. That's pretty cryptic, but bear with me for a second. In this case, it's going to be on a property. It's a property workflow that I'm setting up because I'm pulling some data from the property. In this case, I added just one activity in here, and I said create Facebook posts with Zapier/AI. Who's it assigned to? It's going to be assigned to you, whoever it is. In this case, Realvolve Library, which is the user on this. When is it scheduled? 0 days after start date. Pretty much everything else really doesn't matter too much. But down here, we've created a new action. And in this action, the only thing that I've done, there's no message to be sent. There's no add or remove tags. You certainly could add or remove tags if you wanted to, which might be useful. In fact, that you've actually done this process and it's out there. Maybe you add a tag that Facebook messages created, whatever. But what we've done is we're using a webhook, and this webhook has what's called a URL. It's an address that I obtained through Zapier. Now, don't let Zapier scare you. You guys, this is something that once you understand what Zapier can do for you, it's incredible. And so let me go over to the Zapier account that I've got. In here, I have this OpenAI Facebook posts. This actually has 3 different steps. The first step basically says, hey, we're going to create this webhook URL. And this step right here, it's the trigger. It's where that URL came from. This HTTP address came from the catch hook piece, and we're going to go over that. Once it catches the hook, then it goes in and does some stuff within OpenAI. This is where the magic happens. Once it does its OpenAI stuff, it creates some content, then it sends it to Google Doc for you. Okay, so let's go through those. I wanted to give you an overview of kind of what it does first. So in this case, we're going to click on this. Somebody have a question? I'm hearing an echo. Greg, I'm going to mute you. If you need anything, just unmute yourself. So once I add this trigger, it's going to actually, let me just go ahead and go into the edit zap on this so that you can see everything. So in this case, we catch a hook, and the event for this, which is a webhook by Zapier, you can catch a hook. There's a few other options, but all we need to do is catch the hook. On the trigger itself, it says pick off keys. Ignore that. You don't need that at all. But what it's going to do is it's going to give you this URL. This is the URL that Realvolve needs to send a webhook. This is one of the extremely powerful things in Realvolve that we added that allows you to interface with lots of different applications. If they've got a webhook capability, you can send data from Realvolve into those accounts or those other things by sending it through a webhook URL. In this case, you just copy that, go into your webhook setting for this action, and paste that URL in there. Super simple. And then you can click on save. Now, and we've got some how-tos on Zapier, how to set up webhooks and stuff. There's other training if you need help on that. But it's basically just getting this piece, and you can send a sample, and it shows you, here's the data that's coming from that sample. You can actually, within that webhook piece, you can say send sample data, and it will send a sample record that you can utilize and see the fields that come from Realvolve. Okay, so that piece is done. Very simple. You just create the webhook, which creates the URL. The next thing, and this is probably the more difficult part, but I can actually make this link available to everybody so you guys can utilize it if you're interested in using this. Or reach out, email me, mark@realvolve.com. Be happy to help you. In this case, it is a OpenAI, GP3, DALL-E, Whisper, Zap action. The action is send a prompt. And there are other types of prompts that are available that you can use AI for, which are amazing. But in this case, we're just creating a prompt, okay? But it needs to know what is the prompt that we're doing. So we're going to click on here. And there's a lot of information on here. Ignore the infos. It's just telling you, hey, there's a lot of automation here. Make sure that you're doing your due diligence and understand it before you use it. But here's my prompt. And this looks a little bit gross, but it's not that hard. And like I said, I can give you this so that you don't even have to even do anything. In this case, my prompt, my GPT-3 ChatGPT prompt says this: create 7 new listing style Facebook posts with emojis and hashtags using the JSON information below. Now, I did this because I wanted it to be a very well-structured layout. Did I have to do it this way? No, I could have just put in a label and a field, and it would have done it just fine. I did it as a JSON, which is very cryptic. You guys probably, 99.9% of you guys will not even understand this. You could very easily just go in there and say, this is my MLS number, this is my type, this is my features, blah, 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 and it would understand it very easily. But I did it as a JSON layout. Now, what this does is it's going to say, use this JSON input information below and the principles from breakthrough advertising. This is kind of a keyword that says, hey, you know how to do advertising, and there's principles from breakthrough advertising. It's kind of a theme. If you go out and search for principles from breakthrough advertising, it's a style, a way of doing your advertising that's very good. And ChatGPT knows how to do that. You can say, do not use any information containing 0, 0.00, or null or blank values in the description. This was in here because some of this data may not have any information. It may have zeros. It may have the word null in it, meaning there's no data. But it's some just a way of saying ignore the things that have no values. Okay, and then once you've got that, there are some things like the temperature. How creative do you want them to be? A 0.7 is it's I think it's actually it's not the default on this, but it's, if you go like 0.9, it gets very creative. It can actually hallucinate and give you incorrect information. So you don't want to do too high of a number here, but it's typically from 0 to 1. In this case, 3/4 of the way through there, basically. Maximum length, how many characters do I want this to be? And then some other stuff. Most of this is, you can just leave it the way it is by default. You hit continue. So what it does then is it says, okay, based off of the hook bringing in data, based off of me formatting that data as a JSON object, I'm going to create some Facebook posts. Once I do that, then I want to send it to Google Docs and create a Google document for this. So I want to preview them before I send them out. Now, it would be very acceptable just to say, create one Facebook post and send it to Facebook. You could do that. The question is, do you want to do that? Do you trust it enough to do that? And that's the question. So in this case, for safety's sake, I'm saying let's create these posts and just send them to a Google Doc. And in this Google Docs piece, basically, I'm saying, okay, the document name on this is OpenAI Facebook post for the property street address, which is one of the fields that I've sent from Realvolve, and its MLS number. So that's going to be the document name. And the document contents is from my step 2, my OpenAI step in generating content, the response that was generated from ChatGPT. Okay. And we click on continue. So this just kind of shows you some of the stuff that it found, it got, and then you can click on publish. Now I've already published this and I've already got it all set up. So here is, so this was the activity, telling it to do a webhook. So we go in there and let's say we get a brand new listing and we go into our radar. We say we want to start a new workflow. Choose AI. In this case, that's in the title of it, just Facebook posts with AI webhook. I click on that, click on next, and it's only got one activity. I click on next, and when do I want to do this? I click on done, and it'll create it. Now, it'll create a second one here, but I've already created it once. So here's the activity. It comes due on whatever due date that you've specified. In this case, I told it that I wanted it due today. I click on the little checkbox. I've actually already run this one time, so it shows one run, but I'm going to go ahead and do it again. Click on the little checkbox and click on run. The magic of this is that webhook just sent data to Zapier. Zapier triggered off of that webhook and said, hey, I've got some data here. What am I supposed to do with it? Oh, I'm supposed to send it to where? To OpenAI. OpenAI says, okay, let's take that data. Let's create 7 posts like the prompt says, and let's send it to Google Docs. So if I come over here and it just did it, it just created this post for me. So now I can look in this folder, and I told it that I wanted it in this particular folder. I can double click on that and bring this up. I now have 7 posts that have information about the property that was generated by OpenAI and sent to Google Doc. All I need to do now is grab this, copy, and paste. How simple. Any questions on that? Okay. I know that your minds might be blown just a little bit, but what do you think of that? Give me your response. Very cool. Cool, very cool. I mean, guys, how long does it take you to create your posts now? Even if you've got some tool that does it for you, now you have the ability to have it generate automatically and as an activity within Realvolve. Just have it do it automatically. Here's another one. It was a little bit more wordy. In this case, check out this amazing new residential listing on 123 Main Street, listed at. So it's a little bit more verbose, who to contact. Here's the hashtags. I told it to use emojis. These are all the things on there. One thing that you may want to put on there as part of the prompt is, fair housing, follow fair housing rules. Maybe some of this, of course, most of the time it does know, not to do anything too weird. But the fact is it knew the price, it knew the address, it knew some basic information about it, and it filled in what it could based off of that information. Greg asked, does the AI output have to go to Google Docs? No, that was just what I chose it to do as part of this particular Zap. Like I said, it could very easily go out there. You could just as easily come in here and do a Facebook Pages post. You could send, because Zapier does have integration with Facebook. I know they paid, some big bucks probably, or they've done some stuff at Facebook to create these. You can, send these messages to a group, to a page, through Messenger. These are all different things that could be done, sending content from Realvolve as a webhook through Facebook using Zapier. How about coming back into RV on the radar tab? That's a great question. Yes, you could. Okay, so let's do this. In this case, I could send it back into Realvolve. You'd want to make sure that you select the account. In my case, I've got actually the event in this is create contact. Now, you've already got the contact. In this case, it would really update the contact that you've already got there. I do need to choose the account. Train. I'm going to go into training. I don't know that this one has gotten set up, but I'll go into my training account. What you can do is take the information on this and based on, can I do this? Actually, let me think about this for a second. You've got the seller. If you wanted to send it back into, you could send it back to the seller's information, or you could just send it as an email to the, actually, you could do this. I'm going to delete this. Sorry. Delete, yes. So one of the things that you should know about is on any given property, you've got this little I button right here. Inside that, there is a message. It's the little pop-up part that shows up for a second. It's the Dropbox email address for this record. So if something gets emailed to that address, it's going to show up in the notes section on this. What you can do, because that webhook was sending the data on that, you can come in here and say you want to send an email by Zapier. Choose the event, send an outbound email, continue. Who's it to? In this case, I want to use the Catch webhook by Zapier, and I want to come down to the hang on. Catch webhook. I'm wanting to get to that more. For whatever reason, okay, let's do it this way. Dropbox. Property Dropbox address. In this case, it'll have the email address from that property. Okay. The subject on this might be social media posts. The body on this is the contents from the prompts, the results, the response. That's a great question. I hadn't really thought about this. From, and in this case, it needs to be Mark Stapp and reply to Mark at realvolve.com. You would put in your information in here, CC, continue. Okay, so this one, actually, I'm going to do one thing first, just so that I'm pulling up the same data. Tests. I'm going to find new records. In this case, November 1st, Facebook. This was on 123 Main Street. Okay, so I'm going to use this one as continuous selected information. I'm going to test this. Continue. Actually, retest. And continue. And then I'm going to test this step here. And so now then, assuming we did this right, here it is, social media posts, and there's the posts. It does not show the emojis, though. That's the one thing I don't see it on here. Might need to figure out why on that. And maybe it was just the way, because I sent it as a text, it may have converted it within that the send out email. It may not send HTML. It may only send text based information. So, but it does definitely send it. So, great question, Greg. Great question. Okay, very cool. Does it? Yes. How about coming back into RV tab? Yes. That would be cool. How hard is it to pull or edit the post? So at this point, if I'm sending it to my Google Drive, I'm doing that because that way I can edit it. So once I pull it up here, I can make whatever changes to it. It's a Google Doc. You know, it's basic information, but you can just copy the contents, go out to Facebook, click in here and paste, and then click on post. So very simple to edit it, even right before you send it out. I'm gonna close that. I don't want to send that. Wow. We went long. Sorry about that, guys. Any questions? Way cool. Thanks. What I'll do is I'll put this was recorded. I will put the link to this to the Zap in the system so you can pull it up as a sample Zap. So basically you just come in, it'll create its own URL, but it will have the prompts already built for you. You'll have to put in your Google account, but it will have the definition in there. And then I'll go ahead and leave this this email piece in here, so at least you can see that as well. I'll go ahead and publish this with email to Dropbox. All right, guys. Hope this was helpful. Hope that you guys got something out of that. I know this last thing was kind of mind-blowing and way out there, but you guys have some amazing power that I'm not sure that everybody knows is there. I've put a lot of capabilities in here to help automate what you guys do on a day-to-day basis so that you can save yourself a lot of time. I mean, how much time would it take to create 7 posts, put them into documents, and send them back to yourself or document it? It'd take a while. In this case, I clicked one button and said, complete. Boom, it's there, it's done. So we have another question. Greg has it on his end. Do we have the ability to see a log or notification of email bounces? The only thing in email bounces we have in templates, but it is currently broken, and our team hasn't gotten to it yet, but they are working on it. Is if you've got a template in there, you can go into the templates area, and these statistics aren't showing. But if you click on the bounces and dropped, if there are any bounces and dropped, it will show it. It'll show them in the list so that you can see who they are. The other thing is in your notifications section, it will show any email bounces in here, email dropped, email bounce, stuff like that, and then you can go to that contact and deal with it there, because it'll have the actual email address of the person and be able to just quickly get to them. So I would use those 2 different options. And I apologize, it's taken way too long for us to get to this, but we've had some other things that we are working on for the calendar. I know it's been some challenges for some people on some things, and we're getting them knocked out. I'm doing some final testing on it, very close. Once we get that done, the statistics is one of those that's very high on the list to get this thing back in working order. So, all right, guys. Like I said, thank you so much for attending. Be with us next week. I'm really not sure what is on the agenda for next week. Some KPIs. So in this case, KPIs on tracking real estate and getting ready for 2024. We'll do your questions answered section and using CRM to stop focusing on the noise. So these are some upcoming office hours. Hope to see you then. Signing off, everyone. Thank you.